Hello, my name's Kate Day and I'm joined here by Manya Alkhmri, and we will be talking about some of her artwork as part of MAG Art Club, which was set up with support from funding from the Art Fund. So MAG Art Club is a space where we encourage creativity. We encourage you to try making art yourself if you don't already, or to try a new technique, or maybe just give you the confidence or the boost to keep making. We recognise that you don't always see the processes behind how artists make their work or the thinking behind it, so it's a great way to kind of share that and to connect with other creatives as well. So if you want to share your work, you can upload it onto Instagram with the hashtag MagArtClub. And that means your work will be tagged and other people can find it. And you can also find artwork that other people have shared as part of MAG Art Club by looking up that tag. And that means you can comment on other people's work and you can be inspired by it as well. So do include any information in the text box when you upload your work, because we love to see that too. So yeah, like I said, we're joined by Manya Alkhmri, and we're really interested to hear about your work, Manya. So hello. I don't know, should we go straight in and look at the PowerPoint? I know it's always easier to talk about the visuals, and you've put some beautiful images together.
And first, I want to thank you for inviting me for this. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. I mean, it's lovely that we can share what you've done with more people. So thank you. Let me share the PowerPoint now. There we are. So there's, is this some of your earlier work, Manya?
Yes, it's from my early work. I want to mention that I studied art in my native country, sculpture in High Institute of Applied Art, and I was working in solid materials such as wood and rock. So yeah, I choose these two pieces to show my previous work. Actually, it was based on balance between the mass and the space to show also to show the structures. At that point, I was highly influenced by abstract movement and artists such as Barbara Hepworth, Henry Moore, Fearum Haynes, yeah.
So it is great, isn't it, just to look for artists that inspire you, and that can kind of start you off on your own journey. And like you say, with sculpture, a lot of it is about the kind of the negative and the positive spaces, isn't it? And I think like that's a really good tip as well, isn't it, in terms of if you're making something, not just to think about the thing that you're focused on, but all of the spaces around it and how that kind of balances. Yeah, it's really interesting. Shall I go to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is the Manchester P project. Actually, I studied here in MU and graduated with a degree on visual communication and yeah, contemporary art practice. This was the first project I had in university. It was tricky because it's about Manchester P, how can express the city of Manchester. In this, it's one of the painting. I chose this one. I tried here to express my first impression toward Manchester. It's kind of contrasting among love, passion, fear, and sadness in other way. That's why I choose the bright color, warm color, to express my love to the city. And also I use the curved lines, the black curved lines, to represent the harsh weather, which was upsets me. Yeah, the approach, the three approaches as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Again, you can kind of, I think you can see that your training, your background is in sculpture because it is quite a sculptural image. And that, again, that balance between the building and the sky is really like sort of noticeable, I think, because of the contrasting colors as well.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's when I study sculpture, that affects my new work in painting. Yes, because I have this like hard texture, and yeah,
Amazing. Should I go to the next one?
please.
Okay, and this is something completely different again. So I think I just noticing about your work, you work really broadly, don't you? You use lots of different techniques and you use lots of different imagery.
Correct. Yeah, I like all times. Yeah, try different materials. Um, try new experiment through the work. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a space for art and that's different stuff. As well, it depends on this. Many of this work I in the PowerPoint. It's a part of my project in university, so it depends. Each subject is completely different because theme. So here's in this painting. This is acrylic on canvas. I try to express. Sorry. I try to express my own view toward women's issues and how that's. I believe sometimes that woman has the responsibility of being exploited because of her fear and silence through this woman in in a baby position to represent the fear and of freedom, the fear of freedom, and while the sky, the sun, the birds were flying outer the secured circle. Maybe this as well, because my background, my culture, I say that that's woman. I saw a lot of women that feeling that they need that secure. And in the same time, they feel like they are exploited. While there are a space, there are like the life in front of them. It's that's why. But actually, it's even here. I mean, same kind of woman. So woman is woman. Yeah. Sometimes I feel I feel like even they have responsibility. How children they talking about freedom and human rights and women rights, and I saw like in my family, for example, they raising children like the man different, the woman different. So that's why I feel the woman have the responsibility.
And you've talked to me before about how important it is to you to kind of be activist in your work and address the things that kind of concern you and to use your work to explore them and to kind of communicate them.
Yeah, it's very important. I feel like as an artist, I have this responsibility to highlight many social issues because I believe that art can talk, art be a way to express feeling, idea, and in order to engage others thinking and make a change.
Yeah. And I can see that, and I can see, and it's not an easy thing to do, is it? It's not an easy thing to put an idea into a visual necessarily. But with your work, I can see you exploring that and using lots of, you're not tied to one specific medium, you're not tied to one way of doing it. You try lots of different methods to explore ideas. And I think that's really interesting.
Exactly. It's the most tricky part, the activist's work, the idea. I spent a long time to find out what idea I want to express. Um, it's very hard to touch people thought or feeling. I need the balance between, like, I want to deliver a correct message. In the same time, I don't want to send like um, direct actions. So people usually don't like. They prefer to make their decision, to analyze things. So it's hard to do that balance to in order to the activist work to be reach the most big amount of people at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're, like you say, you're kind of exploring it. You're not kind of spelling it out for people, but I think you get a sense of what you're talking about. Should we go to the next one? Yeah.
Yeah, this is as well. It's related for other projects, first century revolution, and also this piece of part of series of painting. My idea was a social media and technology addiction, how that affects our real social life. Um, this is as well life figure. I try to reflect the isolation idea through the body language, emotion.
And when you're painting the body, because you do obviously paint the body in some of your paintings, do you paint from life? Do you paint from a model, or how do you create your painting?
Yeah, usually from life. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes, yeah, from imagination. But it's yeah, if I want to create like um, I if I want to have the right proportion, so I use the right, but not all my painting from life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you can tell that you've kind of observed the body, and you, like you say, it's really um like a strong, you get the physicality of the body really strongly, especially with this one where you can kind of see all the bones and the muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gives you that sense of like
Yeah,
the
I meant
distortion.
that. Yeah.
Should I go to the next one? And then the number, and then the phone in the hand and the numbers, which kind of contrast that kind of digital with like the flesh. So you do get that, like you can kind of, you can read it almost. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. This is this is a practical experiment. It's practical work related to my dissertation in university. This is actual activism, because in my dissertation I choose activists art as a subject, or in aim to express my view and ideas, feeling, and reflect other suffering, especially in my native country in Syria. As I said before, I strongly believe the role of art and artists in society is very, very powerful. And
Did you say that was very, very powerful? Sorry, the
yeah,
sound is cutting out slightly. Apologies to anyone watching. We've done our best with the sound.
okay,
I
I
think
will.
we're catching most of it, and you can make the sense of what you're saying. But if there was a time when we couldn't make the sense of it, I would just pick you up. So I think you said the role of the artist is very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can you hear me better? Because I switched
Yeah, it's
on.
just occasionally the odd word where it just fades out. I know we've
Mhm.
tried to address it, haven't we? And we just, this is as best that we can do. But you can definitely get the sense of what you're saying.
Okay. Yes, and the artists have this responsibility to highlight issues, social issues like that. And as an artist coming from Syria, I felt it's my duty to highlight people suffering conflict that happened in Syria. These three work pieces, it's related to her. I try to reflect my own thought towards the decision makers and the hidden sides of political life, which I think sometimes have a responsibility to ignite war instead of turn it off, because of the conflict for power, control, and benefits. I got inspiration in these pieces from the iconic symbol of the raised fist, which has long been used to represent themes such as power, defines, and unity. I aimed to um, represent these pieces to be very clear, and in the same way it's not sharp. Yeah. And I achieved that because everybody saw these pieces, was impressed, and he understand it.
Yeah, I love it. I think the hand and the mouth and the kind of, it's like they're like a kind of portrait, aren't they, almost? And they're with the, yeah, it just brings everything together with the hands. It is very powerful.
Yeah, I create a cartoon piece, the caricature paint first, and then I created using the clay. And this is the first time I use the clay in England.
The first time you've used the clay in England?
Yeah. I had been a sculptor before, but
Yeah.
in university this is the first time because we didn't have this material. We actually used the clay in uni for like ceramic work, not for sculpture.
Yeah. No, it really works. Like you can, like you say, you can kind of we can manipulate it, can't you? And you can create something that in 3 dimensions that kind of wasn't there before. And are they kind of hand sized as well?
Yeah.
So they do look like, they kind of look like they're alive. They do.
Yeah.
They're kind of, they're scary, but that's what we want them.
Scary.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was, I presented in different way. I need to have like a better picture for them. But while I presented in uni, it was like there I created also like a small figure of man and a table and like it's 2 layers. Hands is these hands. It's under and the figure, 3 figures. It's above them, so it's like the real and hidden way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you can kind of install them in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to the next one. And this is kind of it's all more of a flax piece, but still using clay. And did you make this after those previous pieces or before?
After,
Okay.
yeah. It's the same idea. I try to highlight the suffering of during the war. Yeah.
Again, it's like using the body and the hands and the
Yeah, it's a
scales.
small prison, small prison. Yeah, it's not very good circumstances. There are people suffering from this prison during the war. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about their experience.
And then you've used the text as well, which I've noticed you do. You kind of put the odd word in or letters.
Oh yeah.
You include that in your work quite a lot. You say you write that in English. You choose to write in English.
Yeah, because I'm living here now and I want people here to understand. Yeah. It's just one word. I don't use too much, but I think maybe if I remove it, it doesn't matter because I think it can it's clear to understand. Like
Yeah, definitely.
no, somebody. Sorry, this is someone said it's like two like married, so they living in this two together, or yeah, somebody have different meaning for this piece. That's why I had freedom.
Yeah. And also, I just think as well, the reason I asked was because I suppose it's interesting, isn't it, when you think about like who's your audience, who's looking at your work, who are you speaking to. I think all of that is just like those sort of questions that go on in your head. I suppose I was just thinking like, it's not just for you, is it, the work? It's like artists don't just make the work for themselves, they make it as part of like a bigger communication. So it's just interesting like what language you use and what you say with those words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same project.
Sorry, you're just cutting out a little bit there.
Yeah, this is as well related to the same project, these two pieces. And yeah, this somebody trying, this man try to help little girl. Yeah, I hope it's clear, because when I create activisms, I don't want too much to explain. I wanted my work clear to be understood. I think there are suffering. You can see suffering in these pieces.
Yeah, I think you can see that there's a story to each one. Your mind starts to imagine the bigger story. And like you say, you don't need to explain it because they're kind of they're human stories, aren't they? And we kind of all have our own way of connecting with other people.
That's why I choose activisms here, because I, especially in English, I have a lack in vocabulary. I can't explain myself. I wasn't able to explain myself in fluent English and engage in like big conversation related to subject. That's why I felt, okay, I want to use my art to speak instead of.
Yeah. And I think that's what's a lot of artists, I mean, other people that I've spoken to as well, talk about like kind of a visual language and yeah, trying to explore how to communicate without kind of words and language as well. So I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So almost moving on to some completely different kinds of imagery here, but again with the body and the hands.
Yeah. This is my last project. This piece of, it's a piece of my last project in uni. I also used the power of activists to highlight cruelty towards animal, and I try to use my tools as an artist as well to support animal welfare. I animals lover from long time, and actually had very experience about okay, in my culture, it's not that thing that don't care too much, I can say, about animals. It's not abusing them, but don't care about them. And I was have this from when I was a child, I have this responsibility. I want to give a food for all stray animals, and my mother all times like don't want me to be very close to them because they stay and maybe having a problem or something like that. So yeah, I this it's like issue is affect me. It wasn't easy to represent this sort of activists in my country. Here I found a space and support. I can people like, oh, that's understand what I want, respect this thing towards animals issues. So that's why I choose this subject. I feel like human issues like highlighted widely in animals still less, so that I wanted to be their voice.
Does it make you feel better as well, like in terms of on a personal level, when you, does it, but then I can almost see that it's quite hard to paint a painting like this as well. So in terms of your own, I don't know whether it's your mental health or more like just your don't know, how does it make you feel to make a painting like this? Like, how does it affect you? Is it like a positive experience, or is it quite
No,
painful to do?
no, it's very painful. It's very painful. While I'm working on these active visits, believe me, it's exhausted me. It's very hard. It's very hard to find the idea. I feel like it's a movie. This, for example, this picture is from my imagination. So I need to think about. It's not came to my mind in this type. It came in my mind in real way. So it's very hurt. It's not easy at all. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very, very painful to create because I feel like each piece I created, I feel the feeling of for example, the animals and this piece, for example, it came to my mind in like a real way that then I put it on the canvases. It's very very painful. That's why I stopped. It's not. I'm not stopped. Like the, currently, I'm working in other other stuff of kind of work.
Yeah, so you can't. It's almost like, yeah, you just can't. You need to give yourself a break from making work like this sometimes and
Actually,
do other things for your own protection,
exactly.
almost.
But I postponed it. It's not. I didn't stop
Mm.
working. But I postponed it, especially during the pandemic. We already all stressed, and we need to something like um, to like we need optimistic feeling, you know. So this kind of work, it was very hard. Especially this, for example, the last project we finished it in 2020 in May. During the pandemic, it was horrible, horrible time. I was scared about what's going on, what's happening in the world. And I'm also working in animal issues. And some people said, oh my God, human in danger, and you're looking for animal issues. But this is from the beginning, I started working on this project.
Yeah, and obviously, I just think that kind of empathy runs through your work, and empathy doesn't necessarily stop with just people, does it? If you have empathy and you care, then that care probably
Of
goes.
course, this is my answer for people. Yeah. You have this feeling. You have don't keep it inside. I still, even what happened, I still want always to represent animal in my work and highlight the abuse they suffering from.
Yeah, I just think it's really healthy how you also like recognize that you can't necessarily do that every day of the week, every day of the year, and that you give yourself breaks and you make other work and then you come back to it. It's a project that never goes away, but you do give yourself breaks because of
Yeah,
the
sure, it's
reasons that you've
important.
outlined. Yeah. Okay. I just think you use so many different. There is definitely, I think, the more I'm familiar with your work, that you
Yeah,
can definitely see how there's definitely a really kind of strong figurative elements that you use in your work, but then you kind of explore that and you play with that. But then you just use all these different techniques. This is kind of another kind of flatter looking, almost like stained glass, or like you're moving acetate on the page or something, but obviously it's paint.
yeah, it is related to the same project because I have many of sketches. Yeah, and actually, to be honest, same high mistake. I wasn't wanted to like do it in this way, but because I want to mention that I work on the paper without using a pencil or pen. I draw directly by brush, just add the paint. I love because when I use a pen, I feel like something reject me part. So the color, it's helped me to to create it. So it's had a mistake. So I manipulated to be in this way.
Yeah, I love that. That's another really good tip. So just going straight in with a brush, going straight in with a paint. Don't worry about your mistakes. Turn mistakes into something a bit different and use that to challenge yourself. Yeah.
I want to mention that as well. I was inspired by the power of advertising art, um, aim to create a sharp idea, convey a clear message, and catch the people attention. So I was very influenced by the advertising art.
Oh, advertising art. Yeah, sorry, that little bit, that word cut out. I was trying to establish what you said. Yeah, so kind of the power of advertising. Yeah, where it's almost like quite emblematic or like symbolic, quite strong kind of images that you remember. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's go to the next.
I also wanted to be like easy to understand, or can people stop and think about it? It's not like something complicated, or in the same times it's not something, it's very, very easy and clear. So
yeah.
balance it.
That horse's head floating away, I feel like I'm going to see that in my dreams tonight. It's kind of it's like a weird kind of I kind of know what it means, but I don't know in words. I can feel it. It's about something escaping, and it feels like it's about.
Yeah, I just expressed, I feel like animals, it's not happy about using them for sport. I feel like they want to be free. I don't, it's maybe, it's an own opinion. Not everyone can agree with me, but it's my own thinking. I don't feel like, I think it's abuse as well, using animals for sport.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you explore that in your work. I think, yeah, you do like, it's like a question, isn't it? It's like a question or like an insight.
Yeah, exactly. It's aiming for freedom.
And again, picking up on those themes, maybe even more, I'd say almost even more, you can kind of see the story there even more kind of clearly.
Yeah, I tried different, like practical experiment. I need to find out what is the best way to create the final pieces. This is all sketches and different idea, and you can, you can see maybe it's difficult to come out with the idea. For me, it's the hardest bit of making activist art. For example, this figure you asked me before about its life figure. This figure is not life. It's from imagination. It looked like that. It's not like.
Say that again. Sorry, I missed that. What's not life?
Yeah, it's not life. It's this figure from imagination.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see it's not like right proposition. But I meant, for example, the feet. I meant like it's savage figure, like using, sorry, but or using, for example, the fair or animals for like luxury things.
Yeah, I totally see that. Like again, you're exploring or using different techniques. It's almost a bit like dreamlike. You can kind of tell that you're kind of like grasping through ideas, like trying to grapple with an idea and put it into like a visual form.
Yeah. I think I made a mistake by putting these two pictures together, because the first one, the paint one, it's related to the new work, which is for fun and relax, and that's it. And the second, the wire sculpture, this piece, it's my first experience of using wire to sculpt something. It's just playing with. I don't have any idea,
Yeah.
but I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good for you to talk about playfulness at this point, because you've talked about a lot of very like, you know, like serious issues that kind of can be quite painful, and that, you know, can be painful to look at, can be painful to make. And then also then just to say that sometimes you can just be playful, you can play with the material,
Oh
you can
yeah,
play with the
sure,
paint.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm personally, I'm optimistic person, and
yeah.
you can see that in my color is sharp, most of them, and warm. But yeah, because as I explained, wanted to express. I can't talk. I want to speak. I want to express. So I use art for the activism as a way to express and convey my messages. But I also create a lot of funny work and landscapes, which give me a lot of relaxation and peaceful.
We'll just zoom through now. So now we've spent quite a lot of time chatting, and I don't want to keep everyone for too long. So we'll just zoom through some of the kind of final
Yeah,
images, because like you said, you
yeah,
just kind of do all sorts of things.
yeah. I add these images because I could just to show like a tip or hints of how to make art.
Yeah, I love the just the loose way you've used the paint. And we talked before about the kind of benefits of using acrylics over oils, and you said how much
Oh,
you love using oils. But however,
oh
this
yeah,
is this an acrylic or an oil? That looks quite oil-like, but I know you tend to use acrylics
no,
at the
it's
moment.
acrylic.
Yeah.
I there are some of the pieces.
Sorry, that was
Yeah.
cutting out again. I wasn't sure if you were speaking, or that was, yeah, that would cut out a little bit. Yeah, we just talked about, obviously acrylics are just easier to use at home, aren't they? If you don't have a set aside studio space, acrylics are just easier to clean up, and wash brushes, and they dry quicker, but you do get
Exactly.
more of a sheen, and it's easier to blend with oils, and acrylics can kind of look a bit dull sometimes and flat, but I think here
For
you've got rid of that flatness that you can sometimes get with acrylics.
Yeah, I agree with you, and this is uh, one of my main obstacles using the oil. It's very it's not like not available for me. I can't use it at my home because oil, the smell, it's cannot go easily, and that's why I use a lot. And currently, I use acrylic more than oil. And in this paint, I try to create art. This is the first layer of my paint. This is the way how I usually use this from imagination. I use, like, for example, the brush, put the color. It's first layer. I didn't draw like the base for the paint. But in the same way, sometimes if I don't want to waste a canvas. Usually, sometimes I use ready mixed paint for children. Is very watery, so I create the first layer of the paint using that kind of paint because it gives like very thin and transparent layer. I can change it or yeah, this just figure from imagination using paint directly on this.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's just about experimenting with paint, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kind of
I like to experiment. This is it's very important for me. And actually, I spend most of the time um, rather than the idea, matching the color. And okay, this is my recent work. Now I start working in other way. On yeah, this is vases, uh, my vases. Also, I want to mention that I very influenced by music as well. During creating my work, I usually put on music And sometimes that the music affects my feeling and also affects like that texture of my paint. It's sometimes if I'm listening to classic or calm music, you can see the final piece, smooth texture. And if I'm listening, for example, I didn't listen to rock while I'm in. If a different type of music, you can, my touch of, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, so you can, this is like another nice tip that
Okay,
you can
sorry,
apply, looking at different music
yeah.
to influence how your outcome is produced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and these birds.
Yes.
Wow, these make me feel happy. They look like they're in the wild.
Yeah, this as well, it's a recent work. I create many of this painting. Actually, some for like a present, some for sell.
These make me think about
Wasting
looking out
time.
the window in lockdown.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
These make me think about looking out of the window in lockdown. I'm just going to zoom through because we have spent quite a lot of time chatting, and this I think is the last image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Together. And are these your most recent pieces?
I want to mention this is it's a collective workshop. Me and my sister was horizontal festival. Now it's at home. This pieces, and there are other 3 pieces. Now
Say that again. What festival is it part of, just in case people want to go and check it out?
yeah, it's a horizontal festival. It's held in home art gallery currently, and we delivered this workshop in cooperative with the Cannes.
Okay.
And these 2 pieces, I brought the base, and me and my sister, we teach people how to create uh, this flower, and so as a collective work. The theme was it's about unity and how we can together we can be stronger, powerful, and more beautiful. So yes, I add these images because I paint the face.
And what was your theme? Sorry, you said
We cannot walk alone.
you cannot work alone. Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, and yeah. So this there are other 3 pieces. People if want to go for to see them, it's in at home.
Wow, that's a really nice tip to go and see that exhibition. And I just think the flowers and you've got the sculptural elements that you recognise from some of your past work, but the flowers definitely make it feel more optimistic and positive. And I can kind of see the pleasure that it went into making those objects as well. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Manya. I think we'll stop now. So we've chatted loads. We might need to edit this down slightly because we've chatted so much. But it's been really lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much for sharing your work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've loved seeing your images. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing what's next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye. Bye now. Bye.